job. My wife had just landed a great job at this super fancy, the kind where you can't get in unless you're all about showing off.
Oh yeah, raw food. How fancy am I?
Not to brag, but my wife is insanely good at cooking. So she quickly became her boss's favorite, who was the head chef and owner of the restaurant. So one day she comes home all excited and tells me to put on my best suit and tie because the chef had invited us to dinner to serve us her own recipes.
I know it's no shower November, but today's an exception. Now go put on something decent.
So on the way there, my wife was telling me that it was super important for her that I helped her make a good impression. I had never seen her so stressed about wanting to impress someone, but she warned me to behave like a decent person.
I need you to cooperate, okay? Please, no bad jokes, no offensive impressions, nor saying that fried chicken with Cheetos is fine dining.
What? Everyone always laughs at my jokes. I'm hilarious. You'll see, your boss is gonna love me. She didn't need to tell me twice because as soon as we got to the restaurant, I turned into the perfect husband and the most charming man you've ever met. Good evening. It's a pleasure to meet you. Your restaurant is as beautiful as you.
Oh, you're such a gentleman. Come on in. I've reserved the best table for you.
Once seated, I was the life of the party. I laughed at all the chef's jokes, even the bad ones. Also complimented even the waiter who brought our grape juice, and my wife was over the moon with how I was behaving. But as you may know, some of us are born to make fools of ourselves and be entertainment for everyone else. So I accomplished my life purpose, I guess. Everything was going great until my wife's boss got up to bring us the dish she had cooked for us.
I made this with lots of love. It's my specialty.
Honestly, it looked delicious, and I was dying to dig into that huge steak in front of me. I felt so lucky to be sharing that meal with my wife, but as soon as it got closer, I realized that piece of meat was raw. I'm not exaggerating. It was so raw that if I cut a piece, it would still go moo. I glanced at my wife's steak to see if she had the same problem, but hers was perfectly cooked. Now, you might say the easiest thing was to ask the lady to cook it a bit more, but can you imagine the embarrassment that would cause for her and my wife? That wasn't an option at all. I tried my hardest to cut a piece of that thing that was tougher than the dry lemon you have in the fridge, and when I chewed it, I had to fight the urge to vomit all over the table. I was in more trouble than you could imagine. Just then, the hostess got up.
I'll be right back. I'm just going to check on the desserts.
I thought, now or never. I had to act fast and get rid of the steak before the wannabe chef came back. And almost like God himself said, hold up, this needs my help. I spotted an open window wide enough for me to throw the steak out quickly without either the chef or my wife noticing. The move required skill and precision, but I went for it, praying to every saint out there. That was my first mistake, thinking someone up there would have mercy on me. Because, what a surprise I got when I realized that the window wasn't open. It was the cleanest window I'd ever seen in my life. You wouldn't see it either. So that raw, tough piece of meat smacked right into the glass, hitting it so hard that half the restaurant turned to see what happened. You can't imagine the dead silence that followed, only interrupted by the squeaky sound of the raw steak sliding down the window. The noise alerted the chef, who rushed over to see what had happened, joining my wife, who was already looking at me like I'd just been caught kicking stray puppies for fun or something. Don't judge me for what I did next, but I had no choice. My marriage was on the line. I don't know what happened. I stuck my fork in and the steak just flew off my plate. I know, such a lame excuse. But what else could I say? Ma'am, your steak was disgusting, so I tried to throw it out the window instead of eating it. I knew no one would believe my story, but I had to get up, pick up the steak along with whatever dignity I had left, and put it back on my plate to finish eating every last bite of that steak, which was now not only raw and tough, but also cold and dusty. I didn't say another word during...
1, 2, 3, 4.
She was my favorite teacher, but she tricked us to do something horrible. And now I don't know if we can get out of it. A new teacher had just arrived at school. Her name was Miss Mara Gibson. Young, beautiful, and smart. The perfect teacher. We were all in love with her.
It's an honor to have someone with such an outstanding profile like yours. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Principal. I won't let you down. Miss Gibson, I'll need your personal documents, for the file. Sure, no problem. My house is a mess with the move, but I'll have everything sorted out soon.
We never knew why she moved here. She would change her story every time we asked.
My cat ran away and ended up here. I like the burgers here better. cute as you guys over there.
But she knew how to win us over with games, food, and sweet words. The big field trip day arrived. Miss Gibson had asked us to get our parents to sign a permission slip weeks before.
Is anyone still missing?
Wait, I'm not there yet. Who's that?
This is going to be a trip you'll never forget.
We were supposed to be collecting plant and insect samples. Miss, we're passing the park.
Don't worry. I've got something better planned.
Hey, who's the new driver?
Isn't it Ronaldo?
No. Whatever. Who cares? Where do you think Miss Gibson is taking us?
To the amusement park, yeah.
Or bowling?
Or to the beach, yeah.
Hours passed and we still hadn't reached anywhere. We were tired.
Miss, I'm hungry. When are we eating?
Shut up, you dumb kid. We'll eat when I say. Now, stay on your seat.
There were signs of her craziness, of course.
I want you to do this assignment on your own, without telling anyone, okay?
Why?
Because you're big kids now, and I don't think you want to bother your parents with this. They might stop loving you like what happened to me.
We were just kids. How could we have known? After a few more hours, we arrived at a place in the middle of nowhere.
Everyone out, now! And I don't want to hear a word.
Meanwhile, back at the school.
Good morning, I'd like to speak to my son Lawrence from Miss Gibson's class.
Sir, Miss Gibson's class went on a field trip today. They just left.
What? But I didn't authorize any trip.
Sir, I have your signed permission slip here.
But I didn't sign anything.
Hey, Dad, I need you to sign this permission slip. In no time, the entire school found out.
Miss Gibson isn't answering her phone. Who was supposed to be the driver today? Ronaldo, principal. Call him now. What?
Miss Gibson had knocked him out and drugged him to take control of the bus. After getting off the bus, Miss Gibson put us into a van with covered windows.
Where are we going?
I don't know.
A group of elementary school kids was reported missing after leaving their school under the care of teacher Mayra Gibson.
After more driving on dirt roads, the van finally stopped. And when we got out, we realized we were inside some kind of tent. It was so strange and we were all scared. Then, Miss Gibson opened a hatch on the floor.
Now all of you dumb kids, get in or you'll be sorry.
We went down one by one, terrified.
You two, hurry up. Get it if you want to live.
What? This wasn't part of the plan.
The fake driver tried to open the door desperately for a while. He tried everything, but couldn't, so he just gave up.
We'll be locked up forever.
Calm down. We're going to get out of here. The kid who got on the bus last had found a tiny sliver of light in the dark trap, and he started digging a tunnel to try and get us out. We were starving. Several of my friends had fainted, and all I could think about was the last task Miss Gibson had assigned us. Injecting your parents with anesthetic. How could I have done that? I'm a monster. I see the surface. We managed to escape, but there was nothing left. No sign of the tent.
So long, brats. Hope I never see you again.
We followed the tracks left by the van until we reached the highway. If we keep going, we'll reach the city. I hope. The heat was unbearable, and we had nothing to drink or eat. We were lost. I tried to be strong, but I couldn't take it anymore. The next thing I remember was waking up in a hospital. What happened? Where am I?
Relax, Lawrence. Everything's fine.
What about the others? My friends?
Now you need to rest.
It turns out a farmer driving down the highway recognized us from the news and stopped to help us. When the police investigated, they discovered we weren't in a hole in the ground. We had been locked up in a trailer buried underground.
How could she do this without anyone noticing? It's impossible.
But the investigation to find Miss Gibson wouldn't stop until she was caught.
You are under arrest. You have the right to remain silent.
This is the only address we have on her school file.
No way.
Luckily, all my classmates were fine. Well, almost all of them. Wait, someone's missing. What was his name?
Whose son?
The older kid. The one who helped us escape. The one who dug the tunnel.
Lorenzo, the whole class is here. Who are you talking about?
I never knew what happened to him. or if he was real, but he saved us. Days later, they found the fake driver wandering in an alley. The police offered him a better deal in court in exchange for revealing Miss Gibson's location. And he didn't hesitate to betray her.
Let me go, or you'll regret it.
Miss Gibson's house was full of cameras and video equipment, gasoline, and a ransom note for $5 million. Now they're both in jail, and they won't see the light of day for a long time.
We need backup in cell number 34. Now.
What? That's impossible. Where did she go? I want everyone looking for her now.
Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you on board, Miss Gibson.